Alright, hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video we are here at Fall Run Park, and I want to show you guys around, tell you guys a few secrets maybe that you didn't know about the park, and a general tour. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so if you are not familiar with who I am, my name is Tyler and I normally make metal detecting videos here on YouTube, but today I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite parks here in Pittsburgh, and specifically Shaler Township. So we are here at Fall Run, like I said in the intro. I was just over here at the intersection. So right when you come to the park, you get a little playground here, a little play set, some swings, this nice pavilion. I think you can lease that out or rent it out through the Shaler Township website. So if you guys are interested in holding little parties here or something, it's a pretty nice spot. It has a little grill and all that, and it's right next to the playground, so your kids can have fun and whatnot. So yeah, if you wanted to play, soccer or something, you come up here and play in this little field. There's extra parking here on the side as well. It only fits probably about maybe 9 or 10 cars if you really squeeze. But here's the soccer field. It's pretty nice, very flat. They did recently add AEDs to the park as well. That's a recent ad for 2026. So let me kind of get into the history of Fall Run Park for you guys. So Fall Run Park used to be state game lands before it was made a park, and I think that was done roughly around the 60s or 70s. There was a lot of development around here and hunting wasn't safe to do anymore in this little valley. So they transformed it into a park, and yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now. So like I said, it is now a park, no longer state game lands. You can come here with your family and rent the pavilion, play soccer, whatever you want to do. Here's the main parking lot. It's a little bit bigger, but I'd say maybe 30 cars could fit here comfortably. People do park along the side of the road here. I don't think you're supposed to, but people do it. So as we walk through the parking lot, you'll see a couple more pavilion-esque things that they put in, and there's also the AED station. If you guys are curious where that is, there's one here, and there's also one all the way at the other end of the park. There are 2 parking lots. There's this one here, and then if I get to it, I'll show you guys the other parking lot closer to the end of the video, or I'll splice it in here, I don't know. But yeah, here's the front of the park, parking. There's a little basketball court, and plenty of parking. So if you guys are interested in coming, there's plenty of spots for you. So right off the bat, if you do park in this larger parking lot here, you can already tell it is a very unique park, especially for Pittsburgh here on this side of town. A lot of the river runs through here, the creek, if you want to, or the creek if you want to call it that. But yeah, it's nice. So the park does get a little more green. It's starting off right now. It's May 2nd at the moment, so it's not too green, but you can tell it does get pretty crazy. It's a little jungle here. But there's plenty of the creek here, or the creek, for you to play in if you want to with your kids. You can walk it. It's very shallow. The only deep parts, I would say, are these little waterfall-like features that are man-made. They kind of dip down right where the waterfall's at, so be careful with those. But generally speaking, the creek is pretty shallow, so you and your kids can walk the creek if you want to, pick up shiny rocks and whatever. Alright, so when you get right to the front of the trail here, you got a couple of rules for the trail: no campfires, whatever, throw away the trash you pick up or you bring in. But yeah, so we're on the park trail now here, the main one. It starts off right at the end of the parking lot there, and you can immediately see the trail follows the creek, or the creek. And this is kind of what I was talking about as far as the deeper ends of the water. This one's not too bad, but there are a couple of them further down here towards the front of the park that you would want to be careful at. All right, so let me start talking about the history stuff for you guys. So to start off with, there is an 1800s coal mine here hidden in the park. Now, I don't want to reveal it for the sake of maybe people would come here and vandalize it if The wrong people, you know, figured it out and figured out where it is. So I won't tell you exactly where it is, but there is an 1800s coal mine in this park somewhere, which is bonkers. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I metal detect places in Pittsburgh, specifically coal mines really, and that's how I found it. I found it on some maps and I tracked it down and I found the coal mine entrance. The actual portal to the mine is not open or anything. You can only see the top of the concrete of what remains because they buried it when they left, but still pretty interesting. All right, so the park features a couple of these little bridges here that cross the creek. So after this wooded bridge here, I think there's one in front of this one. This is the second one, I believe. I'll correct myself if that's wrong. And there's a little hill that goes up here, and there's a little path that comes around to the side. I'll show you guys all the details. So down this little path you will find two waterfalls. They're a little smaller than the main attraction here, but I think they're pretty interesting. So you follow the creek and you see these two waterfalls. So this one on the right is kind of small, but there's a little hidden secret up there, which I will take you guys to in a moment. And then there's the other one here. Now, there's a bit of an eyesore here, and I'll clue you guys in on what this thing is. So there's a pipe here. You can see on the ground, it's pretty messed up. It is definitely no longer in use. You'll see a lot of this concrete here throughout the creek. I think it may have been a sewer line at one point, which is kind of nasty, but don't let that deter you because it is no longer in use. And that's, you know, unfortunately a big problem with the rivers around Pittsburgh is we get a lot of sewage runoff whenever it rains. So no body of water is basically safe. This one in particular, it could be. I don't know where all the runoff comes from, so just be careful if, you know, you come here after a big rainstorm or something. Just be aware. Check online, see if this stuff gets weird or not. But yeah, these are the two first little waterfalls you come across. It's nice and peaceful down here. It's away from the main trail, kind of. It's up there, but not too bad. If you want to come down here, hang out, listen to the water run, it'd be a good spot to do it. All right, so the very next wooded bridge you come across, you can also cross the creek here if you wanted to. It's shallow enough here. If you have good enough boots or shoes that won't get wet, you can definitely do that. But there's a secret path here right after this little bridge, and you come around the corner. It's not too hard to see if you know that it's here, but it's right here at these two logs. Now I don't know if these logs will be here forever, but there's this little storm drain, and there it is. There's the secret path. So let me go ahead and start hiking up this, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about what's up here. All right, so I should warn you guys, this path is a little sketchy, but it's definitely a path. You can see it comes up right here, but a lot of this rock is very loose. And I'd be careful coming up here. A lot of this stuff is moving as I step onto it, so just be careful when you come up here. All right, so when you guys come up here, you'll encounter a little storm drain deal here and this little path that splits. So you have one that goes up and one that comes down to the side. We'll go down here really quick. All right, so we're down at that little path here. Sorry for the wind noise if you guys can hear that. Looks like it's actually gonna rain here in a minute. That's concerning. Anyway, there is this little path that comes along here, and it pretty much abruptly ends right about here. There's no more path for you to go. That is straight down. If I fell, I would fall probably 60 feet, 70 feet, something like that. But there is something very interesting on the other side of this valley here. And let me see if I can get it in a good shot here. I might have to use my camera, my phone camera. Hold on 1 minute. All right guys, so we're on my phone now, and I'm still standing over here where I had the GoPro going. And if you can see here, what is that? So that is the Glenshaw Rock Shelter. Now, there was an archaeological dig done on that area. It is a small cave, nothing crazy. I don't think it goes in very far, but it is a small cave that they retrieved a lot of Native American artifacts from. So there is a whole PDF online of their archaeological dig and everything that they recovered, I think. I didn't view it, but I'm sure they had some findings. So yeah, that's the second little secret of Fall Run Park for you, and we'll move on to the third. Alright, so if you made it up the entire path, it kind of branches off here and it comes out behind me and it continues up. There's a bit of a flat plateau up here. It still is park property, but you want to be careful because people's yards start back here and you don't want to walk into somebody's yard. But yeah, that's up here if you guys want to check that out. And also right behind me is another secret. So there's a geocache here in the form of a mailbox. Don't ask me why it's here, but check this thing out. So this is the geocache. I think there's a few in here, but there you go. Got some stickers here and the inside. So there's a couple of knickknacks in here. I remember I put something from my metal detecting adventures in here and it's gone, so you know, whatever, but it is what it is. So that is the third secret of Fall Run, little geocache for you. And I will show you guys the rest of the trail here. It is starting to rain, but we should be fine. I got my rain jacket on. So yeah, that's the last secret of Fall Run that I know. So if you guys know of any, please leave it in the comments below. People can come and find them if they come to the park, if they live here. And if not, maybe I'll come back and revisit the park in the future. Show you guys some of the secrets that people have left in the comments maybe. So I wanted to share a little bit more with you guys about the coal mine that's here, because that's of particular interest to me and I like talking about it. So the coal mine is called the Glenshaw mine, and it was run by the people that originally settled here in Glenshaw, Shaler Township. And it was the Shaw family. I don't know much about them except for the fact that they ran this mine and they were one of the original settlers of the area. And yeah, they ran that coal mine from I think the 1880s to the 1920s maybe, just based on artifacts I had found there. Indian head pennies and coins and things and a few relics. One relic in particular was kind of interesting. It was, I think, a toothpick holder or maybe a matchbox safe. It had the spelling of Pittsburgh without the H, which is a very strange and particular time in Pittsburgh's history where it did not have the H. So you guys will come across other waterfalls here along the trail and this big rock. When you get to this big rock, you know you're close to the main waterfall. And we'll go see that now. All right, so we are almost at the main waterfall here. So I'll spin you guys around and we'll come across the little bridge here, and around the corner we have the waterfall. So it's been raining recently. In fact, it's raining right now. So that's why the falls are a little more active today. So let me go ahead and get down there and I'll show you guys up close. So you guys can probably see two ways to get down here. On the other side of the bridge I was just on, you can come down here and get in. But there's also this. If you're a little more weary about the steep cliff there and onto the rocks, there's a small little step here. It does get a little slippery when there's leaves here, but I feel like this is a safer path to go down. And here we are. To give you guys a bit of scale here, I am 5 foot tall, 5'6". And this thing's huge. It's probably about, I don't know, 30 feet tall from where I'm standing down here, right here, all the way up. So the park continues up this little path here next to the waterfall. And if you guys haven't come here in the winter time, definitely come and check it out because it's very interesting. The entire falls area freezes over. So if you come up to the top, there's the obvious caution signs. Don't get too close. Approach at your own risk for the falls here, but you can get pretty close. You can see the top of the falls if you want. Obviously be very careful. There's a lot of algae here and moss, so it's slippery. So just be careful if you come up here on this end. But the path goes on for a little bit of time here. There is some manipulation obviously in the park. And if you guys can see these little flags, the little sticks with the blue flag on them. There's supposed to be some kind of pipeline project going through here. They'll close off a section of the park for a little while up here, I think, when they do that here in 2026. You can actually see people's houses. There's a house right up here, and there are a couple of houses up on these ridge lines here. You can see another one up here. So the front half of the park is basically the part where you can kind of fool yourself into thinking you're in the wilderness. The top part here, you can clearly tell you're pretty much right in somebody's backyard. But it's still a nice little nature walk right here in Pittsburgh. If you don't want to go to the busy parks like Shenley or Frick, you can definitely come here. There's not too many people, typically on a weekend when it's rainy and stuff. Obviously it's a little gloomy. I think it's 46 degrees right now. So not many people here, but when it's warm, there are kids in that little waterfall. Let me tell you, there are so many people here when it's warm because it's a nice place to come. It's a nice place to bring your kids. They can play in the water, in the little waterfalls and stuff. Bring out that childlike adventure, you know, of your kids. I remember when I was a kid, I had visited my grandparents so many times, and they had this little waterfall, probably something like this, this little stream like thing in their backyard, and I would always be like, oh, I want to find the waterfall, I want to find the waterfall. So you can definitely bring your kids here, make it a little adventure, have some fun, and yeah, there's a little squirrel for you, chasing a chipmunk, funnily enough. But there's definitely wildlife here. So wildlife, the adventure of finding a waterfall with your kids, coming here by yourself for a nice little hike, 1 mile all the way back, another mile the other way. So not too bad, I'd say. Fall Run Park is very nice. I like it. I personally think this is my favorite park of all time. And you can bring your dogs, go on little walks with them. And you can also park up here too. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you can park up here. There's not very many spots. In fact, it's probably the smallest parking area out of everywhere here. There's there's 4 places you can park, okay? So one would be the small one that I parked in personally this morning, and I told you guys 10 spots. There's the larger spot with the smaller pavilions with 1 bench under them. There's this one back here, which I will show you here in a second. And then there's this parking spot right next to this little bench. Troop 194, Eagle Scout. There you go. But there's a little parking spot here. It's very small. It's basically a turnaround spot. But you can park here maybe 4 or 5 cars comfortably and be able to still get out. But here you go. I guess there's a pet supply lending thing here. And of course, again, the rules of the park. And the AED on this end of the park. So as far as I know, there are two. There's this one here, and then the one at the main parking lot at the front. So there's another parking lot, and it's along Route 8. Right as you come in off Route 8, there is a little section, there's a sign that says extra parking here. So here's the bridge. There's a weight limit. If you guys are driving some heavy machinery over here, be careful. But no stream dumping. Don't dump in the stream, please. So here's the bridge. There is a walking path, so if you do park on the Route 8 side here, you should be fine. And you get a nice little look at Pine Creek here. Another historical creek, which is pretty interesting. Maybe I'll do a baby video about that at some point, but I have metal detected in here before. It looks kind of deep now in the center, but I believe it's normally 2 to 3 feet. So yeah, not too deep, but I definitely wouldn't take your kids to Pine Creek. I also don't think it's park property, so I would be careful if you go in there. Somebody might yell at you for being in their water or whatever, but if you come to the... Sorry, the traffic noise is kind of loud. There's a full run additional parking right over here. So you can park in that little spot, walk across the bridge, and yeah, get to the park this way. That's all the places you guys can park here. Personally, I like the bigger parking lot right at the front with the 2 little pavilions. That's my preferred choice. But you guys can also come up here if you want. Totally up to you. But this is where the trail ends. So you guys can see it's about, you know, a mile or so each way, 0.79 miles. So if you walk the whole way up and the whole way down, you'll get roughly almost 2 miles in, which isn't bad. If you guys are looking for a little nature hike within Pittsburgh, there you go. Fall Run's a nice little spot to come and hike, bring your kids, play in the water, check out nature, all sorts of stuff. So they might make another trail here up to Stone Ridge Park. Now I don't think it's right here. I think it's a little further down, but there is funding taking place right now. I think they're in the process of figuring it out as to how they will put a trail in from Stone Ridge Park to this main trail that I'm on here. So that'll be nice to have more options for people to come in and enjoy the park. You can park at Stone Ridge Park potentially and come down here and explore the park. Alright, so that's about it for today's video, guys. That's Fall Run Park for you. I hope you guys liked coming along with me and, you know, taking this little hike with me. But yeah, if you guys are in the area, feel free to come check out Fall Run Park. It is a very nice place to come with your family, with your kids, with just you, your partner, whatever. Come here, enjoy the park, a little bit of nature. Fall Run Park is one of the, I feel like it is one of the hidden gems of Pittsburgh. Not many people, I think, know about this place. It is one of the better waterfalls in the immediate area of Pittsburgh. So yeah, I don't know, if you guys are into waterfalls, little nature hikes and stuff, stop on by, come check out Fall Run. So there is one more thing I'd like to add in before we end the video here, and that is, I told the township, if you guys watched my last video, you'll know that I told the township about the coal mine entrance, where it was and everything. So if they come back here and they uncover, or they start to uncover the coal mine entrance, then I will come back and try to film some of that process. So I'm hoping they contact me when they start doing it, and I'll be able to come and watch them, you know, dig it open and see what it looks like. But anyway, yes, I will revisit the park if that starts to happen. So without blabbering on too much more, I think I made this video way too long. But I hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, please make sure to like the video and subscribe for more of my content in the future. And I'll see you guys next time.